Today on CityCast Austin, this city is full of holiday markets, from the Armadillo Christmas Bazaar to your local neighborhood pop-ups. But one of the most iconic ones is the Blue Genie Art Bazaar, now in its 24th year. And their co-founder, Dana Younger, is here to give us some advice on gift giving. It's Thursday, December 12th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I am here with Dana Younger, sculptor and co-creator of the Blue Genie Art Bazaar. Now, I love the Blue Genie Art Bazaar, and also the millions of pop-ups, like markets and things that happen in Austin. Is it too late to find the perfect gift in Austin right now?
Oh my gosh, no, I'd say there's a lot of time left. I mean, we're right here at the beginning of December. I'm a late shopper, and
Same.
I'm thinking I have weeks left.
Same. I am absolutely that person the night before that I'm like, oh no.
Oh, yeah. Gotta go.
Yeah. Just in case there's someone that's listening that has no idea what Blue Genie Art Bazaar is. What is it?
Oh, sure. What the heck are we talking about? We are talking about an art show where we are showing 200 artists all under one roof. But unlike other kinds of art fairs where there are hungry artists sitting behind tables in their booths, we don't have that. Our show is more like pop-up retail. And you can come in and you can peruse all of the offerings, and we provide staff that handles the sales and helps customers. So the artists don't have to be there. And there are several reasons for that. There's historic reasons and contemporary reasons. The contemporary reason is that the show is very long. Right? It's grown into this behemoth that starts middle of November and goes all the way to Christmas Eve and is open every single day, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. And the artists just simply can't be there that much and still maintain enough product for the demand. So that piece of it lets them be in their homes and studios and garages making cool things while we provide all of the staff.
I gotta say, I love that. There's something about it that feels like, one, it just takes pressure off of everyone involved.
Yes.
Now, how do artists get included in the Blue Genie Art Bazaar? Can anyone join? What's that process?
So this is a curated show, and we are selecting people. So we have an application process. In the summer, there's an application. Everyone has to apply every year. We look at over 400 artists.
Wow.
And yes, it is a lot. The creative community in Austin is robust.
Yes.
There's a lot of cool stuff going on. And we have a very difficult job of making those selections every year. But we make those selections for a variety of reasons. And we pick the 200 people that we think can meet the demands of the show and like do something that our audience is going to like, people that make things that are affordable, accessible, beautiful, fun, funny. All of those things are the kinds of things we look for. And we wish we could take everybody, but we simply can't.
Yeah.
And so our show is set up like pop-up retail, like I said, where everybody gets a set amount of space and they have to come in and manage their space. They have to merchandise, decorate, put up signs, put up shelving, display things, whatever it is that they need. They have to do that. And then they have to meet the demands of the show, which are strenuous.
So, okay, I'm really curious. How did the Blue Genie Art Bazaar get started?
I was in a fabrication business with my business partners called Blue Genie Art Industries. And we made murals and sculptures and all kinds of things around town to help make Austin fun. And we also like to throw parties. We had a 10,000 square foot warehouse behind where Canopy is now on Springdale Road.
Yeah.
And and that was our fabrication space. But we love to throw parties. And anytime we threw a party, we put art up on the walls, and we did things for Halloween and springtime, and we did all kinds of things. But this little miracle happened when we had an event for Christmas, and that was that people actually bought things. And we thought,
Eureka!
wait a minute, we're on to something. This is really fun. And so we did it again, and then we did it again, and then we did it again. And now we are having our 24th annual Blue
Wow.
Genie Art Bazaar this year.
So why do you think it was so needed back then? Do you think it was because, fellow last minute shoppers needed somewhere to go? Or do you just think it was like, oh, another thing Austin has done that's new and creative and wonderful and like, what do you think was the pull then?
Well, back in the day, we just did it for a weekend. We just
Oh, that's right.
we put it up for Friday, Saturday, Sunday the first couple of years, and then we thought like, okay, well, we're doing all this work to set this up. We might as well make it 2 weekends. So we made it 2 weekends and the week in between. I mean, Austin is to this day a very creative place. And for us, it just was the most normal thing in the world to do. And we had fire dancers, and we had porta potties, and we had punk rock bands, and it was just fun, and what our idea of fun has morphed over time, and we still think it is great fun. And we also have grown into feeling that there is a responsibility that we hold in this intersection between the creative community and the supportive community of Austin shoppers and lovers of art, and this special time of year. Right. This is a time of year when tradition has a lot of impact on people's lives. And so what happened is that back in the day, back in the early 2000s, people would show up with their babies and looking for a fun, thing to do in our dusty parking lot. And now those babies are showing up with their babies. And they are like, well, this is just what we do.
This is what we do.
And I love that.
So I got into a little mini argument with someone the other day because they were sure that Blue Genie Art Bazaar happens twice a year. But I want to set the record straight. It only happens during Christmas. Is that right?
Well, we have a long history of causing confusion in this town. With the Blue Genie Art Industries and the Blue Genie Art Bazaar. We do a show in the springtime called the May Market.
Oh, maybe that's what she was thinking.
Call it the Blue Genie May Market in trying to keep our tradition of confusing people.
Dana, you just solved it. You just solved it.
My work here is done.
Wow. I'm curious, like, how has the artists and the art or gifts or the offering at the bazaar, how has it changed over time? Because if like 24 years is a really long time of like just like growth and the world changing. And so like, how have you seen the offerings like grow?
That's a super good question, Nikki. And I love to think about that. And back in the day in our dusty warehouse, we were putting paintings on the walls, like big paintings. And we maybe only had 15 people that we were showing. It wasn't a gargantuan show with hundreds of people. And so gradually, and it happened really organically, it has moved more towards gifts than art for the walls, which is not to say that there isn't art for your walls. There is a lot of art for your walls. There are original paintings and sculptures and things, and there are jewelers and soap and candles and greeting cards and accessible things. And, part of that happened organically. I think, in the early 2000s, space was cheap in Austin and people had big spaces and they could make big paintings, and it didn't really matter if they sold because they wasn't very expensive to live here. And I think people have moved into their homes and garages and backyard studios, and those tend to be smaller spaces. I have significantly less space for my creative practice than I did in 2001. And the work is naturally a response to the space in which it is made. And also, there's been these great and amazing technological shifts, right? So one year we looked around our show and thought, there are 15 people working with lasers. Like,
Ooh, yeah.
and in 2001, there were no laser made artworks in
Exactly.
our
Yeah.
show. And so all these things have combined.
Yeah.
And people come to our show looking to buy gifts for their entire family and not have to remortgage their house. And so things are affordable, and we look for things that are affordable. So you should be able to buy a handmade cool thing for someone in your family for $25. That's my
Right.
belief. That's my
And
belief.
so you actually, this is a great segue to my next question. There are a lot of people in my immediate kind of like, you know, scope or view or whatever that are like, no, I want something handmade, or I want something special, or I want something local. I want something local to give to my people. You know what I mean? Are you seeing that? Like, my fear is that more people are shopping online and less people are showing up for things like this. Do you feel that that's true? Are people, what are people looking for these days? Are they looking for the more like homemade, artistic, creative, local things? Or has the bazaar been affected by like the Amazon and, all of the online, easy, fast shopping?
I think both things are true. Some people are looking for an easy, just like, I don't need to get out and do this. I can have it sent to me.
Yeah.
But we are very fortunate to be in Austin. Austin has always been a creative community, and a community that is incredibly supportive of creative endeavors. And I noticed that as a child when I got here in the 80s. I was like, people go out for music, they go out for theater, they like get
Oh,
the
yeah.
homemade magazines, and Austin has always done that. And I think it's a piece of our culture, right? It's a piece of
Mm,
Austin culture.
yeah.
And so people come not only because, yes, they want handmade soap, like they get their handmade soap every year, or the chocolate, or jewelry, or a piece of art for their walls, that is handmade, but they're also coming for the experience, to do something that is Austin-y. Like this is
Yeah.
a piece of culture,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
and they come for the experience, and they come for the tradition. And there are more and more people in Austin every single day, as is evidenced anytime you try to get up and down I-35. Um,
Or anywhere.
and yeah, and we get roughly 30,000 visits to our cash registers in the course of the
Wow.
holiday show. And that's a lot. That is a lot
That is a
for
lot.
our 11,000 square foot space, but there are 2 million people in Austin.
Jesus.
And so it's
Yeah, it's
and
a little
those
bit.
people
It's a
love
little
it. It's a
slice.
little bit,
Yeah.
and that's fine. And we love it, and they love it, and we are going to keep doing it because of that.
I've been so far this year twice already. And typically my tradition is because I am a person that like I only need to see everything. I just do. I need to see everything. I'm nosy like that. I'm a shopper. I like to get my hand, like to see everything. So the first time I go, it's just like a nice sweep. Like I go, I see what's happening. And then I like to divide my trip. The first half of my trip I get for family. The second half I get for friends.
I love it.
I'm very methodical about it. But I have some friends that will come and spend 4 hours.
Mhm.
4 hours meticulously going through everything, meticulously finding things. And so I'm curious if you have any kind of tips along those lines. Do you find that it works better if you break it up into chunks, or should you just immerse yourself in the bazaar, get in there and just like let the force take you take you where you're supposed to be?
I think as far as strategies go, both work. And I talk to many people that do it both ways. It's like when you go to Barton Springs, right? Some people are like, I'm going to put my foot in and then I'll put my
Yeah.
other foot in, and
Yeah.
then I'll get in up to my knees. And other people are like, I'm diving in, and it's shock, and it's the same way with the Bazaar. And we understand with 200 artists, and we get out our
Yeah.
giant shoehorn, and it is a full scene. And
Yeah.
and so, some people like to just dive in and see what they're going to see and have a drink and get some things, and then they're out and they've had their experience. And other people are like yourself, that want to do it more methodically and want to really see everything. And so I love it, that there are different ways you can approach this. I think is fun.
Hey y'all, it's Nikki with a friendly heads up that it's time for you to start making plans for New Year's Eve. But don't worry, I've got a great idea. Head just southwest of town to the Omni Barton Creek Resort and Spa and ring in 2025 in the Texas Hill Country. Their amazing restaurant, Blind Salamander Kitchen and Bar, is serving up a multi-course wine paired dinner, and reservations are still available. After dinner, the adults can enjoy Snowdown, a magical snow show that turns Lady Bird Lawn into a winter wonderland. And the kids can hop on over to the kids camp, where the Omni Barton Creek staff will keep them entertained with arts and crafts, games, and movies. Now, the best part, there will be a champagne toast at midnight. Y'all, it's basically magical festivities for everyone. Find all the details by Googling Omni Barton Creek and make dinner reservations by searching for Blind Salamander Kitchen and Bar on Open Table. And Happy New Year, y'all! I think that it can be intimidating to buy art for people. Like, candles, soap, jewelry, that to me, that stuff seems kind of like you can't lose. But I think art is a different beast. Art can be intimidating, and it can be hard to figure out what a person's style is. And so do you have any advice for folks that want to buy art for a friend or family member, but they don't want they want to surprise them. They just want to buy something for them and have them have it, but they don't want to be intimidated by like, oh my God, this is art. This is a big deal. It has to mean something. Like, do you have any advice for people that get in their head like that?
Yeah.
We or other people?
Absolutely. So art can mean a lot of different things. And in our show, it can mean things that are affordable. A lot of times people think art and they're like, oh, it's like, this is valuable. But it doesn't, it doesn't have to be expensive. A great strategy is to be like with your friends, be like, hey, it would be fun would be to go to the art bazaar and get a drink and just look around and
so
look
sneaky. So sneaky. I love it.
That's right.
I love it. I love it.
And then they're like, oh my God, I love this. This is so cool. And then you're like, okay, I just made it up.
Mental note.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, there's a lot of different ways to do it. And I get it. It can be intimidating to buy something for someone, no matter the price tag, that you're anticipating that they will put it on their wall.
Yeah.
And display it for everyone to see, because that means it needs to be a really effective reflection of them. And so sometimes these things take time. You go to their house and you're like, oh, I see that there are a lot of flower themed pieces of work on their wall. And then you see something that's flower themed at the art bazaar and it's in your budget. And then you just, you risk it and say, and they will love it. And, it's fun. It's just supposed to be fun. And art is about feeling good and looking at something that makes you feel good, whether that's a piece of soap that somebody made, or a piece of art for your wall, or a piece of jewelry.
I get in my head around this time about being a good gift giver. You know what I mean? Like we all have those friends that we know that, every time they give a gift, I'm like, Jesus, that's the most thoughtful shit I've ever seen. Like we all have that one friend that's like that. And
Yeah.
I am not that friend. I try to be, but I think around this time, I really get in my head about being a good gift giver. Do you think that there is just one safe gift? Like,
Definitely soap. I mean, we sell
okay.
a lot of soap, and there is a lot of range within the soap, and so that has to be thoughtful as well. But it doesn't. You don't have to pull your hair out over it. But whether a person likes lavender or they like Austin Beer Works, like it's and everything in
Yeah.
between. But it's a consumable. And so the nice thing about consumables is that it's a candle, it's soap, it's maybe it's a greeting card,
Yeah.
and it gets used, and then that's the end of it. And then you can give it again the next year. It's like, oh, I loved that soap that you got me. That was so cool. Where
Yeah.
did that come from? And then you can give it again.
I love that. I love why didn't I think that's such a great term, consumable, because I think it
Hmm.
also helps with waste. I think if you give me
Yeah.
something that I can just use, then
Yeah.
I've used it and it's done, and I'm not contributing to waste. I love that. I love that. Just out of curiosity, what's the best and also the worst gift you've ever received? Can you tell me? Or will someone know? Or will someone know?
I don't know. You're in risky
Well,
territory here,
okay, we'll
Nikki.
say the best. What's the best gift? One of the best gifts you've ever gotten.
A couple of years ago, my son got me a pepper cannon. My friend Brenner, who used to write for the Chronicle, he did this very funny piece about his pepper grinder that he called the horse leg. It was one of those gargantuan,
Those
like at a
huge
restaurant. Yeah,
ones.
he had one of those, and these people approached him and were like, "Hey, try this thing out," and it was very funny. He's a very funny writer, and I was just talking about this, thing, and then on Christmas, here's this amazing pepper grinder, and I use it every day. And that's why I love it, is
Oh,
because he really he's like, my dad really loves to cook, and he's going to use this thing.
I
And
love a
it was just
thoughtful gift.
it was very thoughtful. Yeah, he's so thoughtful.
I love a thoughtful gift. This is what I'm talking about. You people out there with your thoughtful, well, intentional, beautiful gifts. Get out of here. Shaking my fist at you, rebel. Rumpf. Just showing the rest of us up. Sometimes it feels like people feel like the price tag is what creates value in gift giving.
Mm.
And that's always kind of been a misstep that I've seen people do. Have you seen any other kind of like holiday gift giving missteps that have kind of gone wrong?
I think, I think if we, as a culture, in the big picture, not an individual, but in the big picture, we feel a frenzy, right? We feel so. In addition to
Yeah.
there being a price that is associated with value, we feel a frenzy to
Mm-hmm.
do like at this time of year. And I think if and this is one of the things that I love about the Art Bazaar, is it asks you to just have an experience and think about where your money is going, and that these things don't have to be expensive, and they can be meaningful and thoughtful and made by a person for that you're giving to another person that you think will
Right.
appreciate it. And that, I think, is the spirit of gift giving, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
As opposed to just doing out of obligation, or some sort of like frenzy that the media has whipped up in us.
It's kind of my least favorite thing is that frenzy, that like going
Yep.
to stores and everybody so I feel like the holidays simultaneously bring out the best and the worst in people. There, that
Yep.
frenzy of like, "Ah, I gotta get this, I gotta get this,
Yep.
get out of my way," like that. Ugh.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
it keeps me for sure out of stores all through December, because I'm like, I cannot handle it. I can't handle that frenetic energy. But I think that there are ways that you can do last minute gifts that will keep you from pulling all your hair out. So,
Yep.
are there any other ways, in addition to the Blue Genie Art Bazaar, are there other ways that you do last minute gift shopping? Like, what kind of tips do you have for someone to be a successful last minute gift giver?
I mean, for my family, I lean on practicality um, for gifts. My adult children are guaranteed to get a toothbrush in their stocking
Love it.
um, every year. And I think it's great, and I want a toothbrush in my stocking too. So I lean on those kinds of things. There are many art fairs and great stores around town that are platforming our local creatives, and I encourage you to support them as well. And there's lots of fun stuff happening in this town. So if what you want to do is support local creative people, please come to the Art Bazaar, and go to these other places and have an experience that you can remember. So I think those are two things that I think about. Is like,
Yeah.
okay, everybody needs a ballpoint pen. You're
I
getting a
love that.
ballpoint pen.
Listen, I'm taking so many things from you right now. I'm totally going for practicality. I'm totally going this is great actually for me. This is wonderful. Do you have a favorite market that you go to aside from Blue Genie?
I love to go to South Congress. My wife and I like to shop at Daughters, which is a very small store on South Congress that specializes in ladies gear, and it's super cool store. So we like to shop at like smaller stores that are kind of local and fun, and then walk around South Congress and just look at people.
Yeah, because there's always going to be someone selling something on South Congress.
I honestly, just to be perfectly frank, I get my fill with everything that I have to do for the Art Bazaar, and we try to make it very accessible. We're very interested in accessibility from price point. We're open 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day, except Christmas Eve. We close a little early on Christmas Eve, but it's free to get in. You'll never have to pay to shop with us. So we try to remove as many barriers as possible so that you can breeze in. If you want to breeze in, come on a weekday because the weekends are bananas.
Crazy.
If you want the energy frenzy experience, then come on a weekend and you will get it. But if you want to have a little less intensity, come on a weekday.
And also, just can't put too fine a point on it. You can shop and drink. You can have
yeah. Talk about lowering the anxiety level, right?
I mean, listen, there is something very special about that, about being able to shop and drink. And so also, you guys have like a scavenger hunt or something for kids? Am I making it up?
Oh, we do. No, you're not making it up.
Okay.
We've done it the last couple of years and it's just been sort of a fun thing. But this year we were like, you know what? Let's make this even more fun and make a prize. And so if you complete the scavenger hunt, it's like a word find, kind of like, you get the clues and then each one has a circled letter and then you add those letters up and it makes a word and you use that word on our website and we will send you a free gift. That I made. Like I made these things.
What?
And it's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, okay.
I made these cool, we have that big Texas Santa as you walk in the front door. Yeah. He's been with us forever. Well, I took his head and I made it into a very small 3D printed keychain. And 3D printed them and assembled all those keychains myself. And they are sitting in a little bucket. And if you complete the scavenger hunt, we will send you one. Because that's fun. And this is why we do these things.
That's so much fun. Okay, somebody with some kids, give me one of them keychains. Blue Genie is such, to your point earlier, it's a part of the fabric of the city at this point. When I think about the holidays, that's it's something that's in my mind. What do you hope for the next 24 years of Blue Genie? Because, it's only gotten bigger. and which tells me it can only get bigger. Do you still think it'll keep its home in Austin? What do you see for the next 24 years?
I hope so. I mean, real estate prices in Austin are no joke. And we work hard to make sure that we can, pay our rent for the year. And so my hope is that we can continue to do this. And we do not have grand aspirations to leapfrog to another city or anything like
Right.
that. This is our place. It could happen. I'm not saying it's not going to happen, but it's not in our plan. We love what we do. We love this city. We love the creative community in this city, and we have long relationships with our audience and with our makers. And this is where we want to be doing what we want to be doing. And as long as we are able, vertical, and ambulatory, we will probably keep doing it.
Thank you so much for being here. This has been great. It's been awesome talking to you about this.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I've really enjoyed this conversation. So thank you.
Me too. That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to the Blue Genie Art Bazaar and Dana Younger's social media in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.